Hello. I felt like sharing some thoughts on the recent California Supreme Court ruling on the Proposition 8, which was a sort of ballot question vote in California on whether or not to allow gay marriage in California. First of all, I was very disappointed in the people of California for voting this ban into place to begin with during the elections, and I am further troubled by the Supreme Court ruling that came down. Personally, I was hoping that this would be a chance for the Supreme Court to impose some reason on California and get rid of this ridiculous ban on gay marriage, the Proposition 8. I'm in Massachusetts, where gay marriage has been legal for several years now, and there's a few studies that came out showing that the gay marriage has actually been a boon to the economy here. And there's a study by the Williams Institute at UCLA, and they point out a few trends with gay marriage. One is that the gay marriage law is attracting a lot of high wage earners to Massachusetts, people from the entertainment profession, or even scientists and the like. And of course, they're spending that money in the state, which is always good. But not only that, but these people are spending a lot of money on their weddings. So the figure I'm looking at says that these gay weddings have provided some $100 million for the local economy. And when you think about everything that's involved in a wedding, the location, the clothing, the flowers, everything that goes with it, there's a lot of industry that benefits from more marriages. Now, I know the Supreme Court of California has to make their rulings based on law, but if you look at the economic situation in California, they're not doing so good. You would think that they would consider the economic side of this decision, and considering, California, it's a big state, you would think that they would want gay marriages and want to rule in favor of allowing gay marriages, because I'm sure it would be a similar boon to the California economy. So I think it's a loss to California as a whole on an economic side. The other thing that Massachusetts has done has dispelled this ridiculous myth that gay marriage is somehow going to destroy the institution of marriage. We've had it for several years now. There's been no crisis. It hasn't even been noticeable. The only things have been beneficial, like the economic boon and people having the freedom to do what they choose. It hasn't led to men marrying horses or anything of that crazy nature. Life goes on like normal. It hasn't done anything but allow gay people to marry. The way I see it, there are only three reasons to oppose gay marriage, and those are fear, ignorance, and straight-out bigotry. I do not think there is any reasonable, logical reason for opposing gay marriage. It just doesn't make any sense. In fact, I think a strong argument can be made for the idea that it's the bans on gay marriage that actually weakens and damages the institution of marriage. In my mind, saying you can't sanctify your love with marriage is the same as saying you don't need to sanctify your love with marriage. So a straight couple looks at a gay couple and says, if they don't need marriage to live in a very loving and long-lasting, dedicated relationship, why do we need marriage? And I think it actually encourages more people to forsake marriage, to shove it off and say it's just not necessary. We can be in a loving, dedicated, long-lasting relationship without this notion of marriage, which is so fickly applied and not allowed to apply to everyone who has that relationship. There are some silver linings, I think, though, and I always like to look for silver linings. One being that, as far as I know, California does still allow civil unions. Now, I fully support and want to see full gay marriage, and I would never settle on, I don't think that anyone should settle on civil unions as a compromise, but I do think it's important to have at least that legal recognition of a couple when it comes to, medical stuff and whatnot, and I should hope that the civil union does provide that at least. And the other is quite simply the fact that those who support and want gay marriage are on the right side of justice and the right side of social justice. Whether it was women's suffrage or civil rights or the right for a black man to marry a white woman, it is always the case that those coming from a position of lacking rights always end up having the rights at the end of the battle. the simple fact that this battle is raging across the country for all the back and forth going on is a good thing. The battle itself is prophecy of eventual victory. So I have this to say to those who oppose gay marriage and who voted in favor of Prop 8 in California. I have contempt for you. I don't really care what your reasons were for voting in favor of a ban on gay marriage, but like I said, it just wasn't based on any valid reasoning. And I ask myself, what does it say about Americans who vote away people's rights in a country where historically we have only granted people more rights and more freedoms? Looking back through history, women's suffrage, civil rights, the right for a black man to marry a white woman, all those fights had opponents too. People who didn't think women were smart enough to vote, who didn't think black people were equal to white people, who thought it was a dirty idea for black men to marry white women. Well, when history looks back on this, the people who oppose gay marriage are in that same class of people. And I want to ask the people who supported Prop 8, who voted for it, and who oppose gay marriage, when history looks back, do you really want to be in that class of person? And to everyone out there who supports gay marriage, and to those that it affects personally, and to all those out there who are struggling for their rights, I think a Winston Churchill quote is quite apt. Never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 never. In nothing great or small, large or petty. Never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force, and never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy. This is America, people. We deserve better than this. We are better than this.